Okay, so let's recap our estimation process. We talked about these steps outlined here, are the steps that each one of these videos have gone over. We start by gathering statistics around the transactions, transaction volumes, the business events that are needed for the reports. We start also estimating the kinds of join processes that will be needed, the reference data that's going to be needed, the additional attributes besides what's on the transactions that are needed. We also start looking at the frequencies, how often these reports are needed, what are the windows involved, how long can it possibly take us, what is the deadlines by which we have to produce them. After we get those set of statistics, we also gather a bunch of statistics about reports, and reports are going to use those things that we just outlined in estimating what the reports require, and there'll be some going back and forth between these. As we start to think about reports and what goes in the reports, we'll probably find some additional transactions, some additional reference data, perhaps even some frequencies and timing issues. So there might be going back to step one to estimate some more things in detail. The things that we need in reports, we have to think about the data that's extracted for reports, the types of joins that are done for reports, the kinds of calculations that are done for reports, how many reports are going to be needed in each one of the frequencies. So those are going to be the kinds of things. And then we go forward and start to measure our statistics. How fast can we produce reports? What is the timing involved for our hardware environment? Can the reports be done within the hardware we have? How much will it cost if we need to get larger computer capacities? Those kinds of things. That's the third step in the process. Then we evaluate. We step back and say, okay, here's from our sample data, here's from our sample process runs, here's what we think. Are we going to be able to get the things done within the times that are needed? The last step of the process is if that valuation comes back and says, no, it can't be done within the time frames, then what sort of summarization do we have to do in order to produce the reports in the time frames involved? So we go back around again once we do the summarization and test again how long that would take. This process then gets us to something that's predictable, something that we should be able to do if we're conscientious in our measurement. It means doing the math, and doing the math multiple times is what might be needed in order to ensure that we can get this done in time. One of my early projects as an architect for a food manufacturer was when I developed this system, these steps, and went through them myself. And at the end of the time, I was quite pleased that we were able to produce the reports instead of that report that ran for 4 days without being able to produce a single report. Our system was able to produce the reports in a timely manner, not just a single set of reports, but also because we were using data-effective joins, they were able to take another copy of the reference data and add to the reference data additional effective dated records, like the recast view, but this was a forecast view of what would happen if they reorganized the company. And then they were able to run those within the same set of reports and say, what if scenarios? All of those things were produced out of one pass through the transactional file, doing all of those joins that were necessary for each one of the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual frequencies that were involved. It was a significant milestone for me in my career, having gone through these steps and having developed the system and having the system work appropriately. Doing the math allows us to predict what comes in the future. It's not something that we like to do. It's something that requires us to think slower than we like to think fast. But doing so gives us a great sense of accomplishment at the end when what we've done proves to be true and we've been successful in what we set out to do.